Sometimes, in the quiet moments when the world feels far away, you may sense a kind of emptiness, an ache you can't quite describe. And if that's where you are right now, I want you to hear this as if it were spoken directly to you. My dear child, if you are lonely, if your heart is longing, know that I am here. There's something powerful about knowing you're not walking alone. Even when the path ahead is unclear, or when your chest feels heavy with questions you've never dared to say out loud, there is a presence that whispers, "You matter. You are precious." Maybe no one has told you that in a long time, or maybe you've forgotten what it feels like to be held by reassurance instead of worry. But the truth is this: something special is being prepared for you. Something you cannot yet see, but it's already on its way. Your victory, yes, your victory, is closer than you think. It hasn't been denied. It's simply arriving right on time. And time, as you might already know, doesn't follow our rules. It bends, stretches, and aligns in ways we rarely understand. But the one who holds it is never late. Never. So take a moment, breathe. What are the worries you've been carrying lately? The concerns that grip your chest at night? Or the fear that wakes you before the sun rises? What if, just for this moment, you allowed yourself to release them? To place them into hands far more capable than your own? You were never meant to bear every burden, at least not alone. Do not let your heart spiral into fear about tomorrow. The future is not meant to haunt you, it's meant to unfold for you. And even if you cannot see a way forward, if it looks like every door has closed, there is one who opens pathways where no path existed at all. The presence that walks beside you owns the day, the night, and every breath in between. Above the earth, beneath it, around it, nothing is outside his reach. Right now, in this very moment, you are being reminded you are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not walking this path alone. There are nights when fear doesn't knock, it barges in. Maybe you felt that. The kind of fear that sits on your chest, that whispers worst-case scenarios, that steals the peace you worked so hard to build. Fear is loud, especially in the dark. But even then, even in those trembling hours, there is a courage inside you waiting to rise. And in those moments, you are invited to say, "I will not fear, for I have trusted you, my God, my Lord." Not as a slogan, not as a forced affirmation, but as a quiet declaration from deep within, the place where strength begins. Because something remarkable happens when trust replaces panic. Your soul, which felt trapped and small, begins to lift. You may not even notice the shift at first. It might feel like a soft breath, a loosening of the shoulders, a subtle warmth that eases the mind. But slowly you begin to fly with a peace that doesn't make sense on paper, and yet somehow it fits perfectly in your heart. Imagine this, a hand on your shoulder, not pushing, not pulling, just steadying you. That is the image of a strength made perfect in your weakness. Your fragility isn't a flaw. It's the very place where divine strength fills the gaps. Patience, of course, isn't easy. Waiting feels like stillness, but inside you everything rushes. Thoughts race. Emotions tighten. But the invitation still stands. Lie still. Quiet your heart. Know that there is nothing to fear. This doesn't mean ignoring your pain or pretending everything is fine. It means trusting that fear doesn't get the final word. Peace is not an escape from conflict. It's learning to be anchored in the middle of it. And that peace, once it settles in you, changes the way you see the world. You begin to enjoy life again, even while challenges remain. You breathe easier. You think clearer. You rise stronger. And perhaps the most comforting truth is this: you don't have to create that peace by yourself. It is given, placed gently within you, waiting only to be noticed. If life has felt chaotic lately, like everything around you is swirling out of your control. Hear this clearly: you are held. The chaos isn't a sign of abandonment, it's a sign of transformation. You are loved fiercely and faithfully, and you will not be let go. Sometimes restoration begins long before we can feel it. There are moments when it seems like nothing is changing, but beneath the surface, something is already shifting in your favor. A promise is unfolding. Today you will know peace. Not someday, not eventually, today. Peace that wraps around you and even reaches your family, touching the people whose well-being you worry about the most. You may not notice it yet, but healing is happening in layers. Your body is being lifted, your strength renewed. The grief you have stored away, quietly, secretly, is being washed clean. The parts of your heart that were cracked, bruised, or exhausted are being braced and restored piece by piece. And here is a truth that might surprise you. The blows that have struck your life, those unfair moments, those losses, those betrayals, are not the end of your story. You will receive in return what was taken from you, tenfold. Not because pain is being erased from history, but because restoration always outweighs destruction. You are not walking around in invisible wounds. You are clothed in something far more powerful: garments of salvation, a robe of righteousness, a reminder that your identity is not defined by what you've suffered, but by what you are becoming. Maybe you've doubted that good things could ever return. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign that you're going to make it through. If so, let this be that sign. Let it be the whisper that reaches you exactly when you need it. You are being rebuilt. You are being strengthened. You are being cared for in ways you cannot yet see. And in time, what you once thought was the breaking of you will turn out to be the making of you. There are wounds we carry that never quite make it into words, old disappointments, memories we wish had gone differently, injuries that still echo in the background of our minds. And yet, in the middle of those shadows, there is a gentle invitation. Let my light drive out the darker shades of dissatisfaction. Forgive. Release what has been done to you. Forgiveness isn't about pretending nothing happened. It isn't weakness, and it isn't surrender. It is choosing not to let the past chain your heart to old versions of yourself. And what's most powerful is that you are not asked to forgive alone. There is a presence that would rather sit beside you and weep with you than condemn you. That kind of companionship reshapes the way we heal. You are told, call on me at all times. Not only when life collapses, but in the small, uneventful moments too. When you do, peace surrounds more than just your heart. It wraps around your family and your home like a quiet shield. Peace becomes something you live inside of, not something you chase. And even the pain that has stayed with you far too long, He is erasing it. Brick by brick, layer by layer, He is clearing a beautiful way ahead of you and for those you love. There is rest offered to the weary, a place where your burden no longer defines your steps, a place where the soul can finally breathe. The invitation is simple and timeless. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. A rest not of inactivity, but of relief, of a heart finally unburdened. There is something profoundly moving about the idea of a covenant, a promise sealed not by circumstance, but by love that doesn't shift with the wind. You are told, I will bind my covenant with you. I will give you treasures of darkness, riches stored in secret places. Some blessings are visible, but some are hidden in the very places you never wanted to walk through. It's often in those dark seasons that the richest wisdom, resilience, and clarity are discovered. And in those moments, you learn that divine promises outlast everything. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Maybe you've questioned whether mercy is still available to you. Maybe you've wondered if you've gone too far, or changed too much, or become someone unrecognizable. But the voice remains steady. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. Your Father still loves you. I will love you until the end of time. This is not a fragile love. It is not conditional or cautious. It is enduring, ancient, and anchored in grace. And as you walk with that awareness, you begin to realize you are already crowned with kindness, with tender mercies you didn't earn, but were freely given. Your head is anointed with oil, and your cup runs over not because life is perfect, but because love is abundant. The world may shake, circumstances may change, but this remains. You are held by a promise older than the stars. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey when something within you stirs, quietly at first, then unmistakably. A flame that wasn't there before begins to burn. You may feel it now, a renewed mind, a shifting perspective, a clarity returning to your eyes. You are being awakened. This awakening is not for observation, it's a calling. Rise and take my hand and come with me. There is power in saying, Jesus, today I trust in you. Those words are simple, but they carry the weight of surrender, courage, and direction. And once you rise, you are invited into a mission. Not one of loud proclamations or forced persuasion, but one of sharing hope, letting the words that touched your heart reach others who are quietly drowning. You never know whose life might be rescued because you chose to speak. There's also a promise wrapped inside this calling. This year, you will flourish. Not just survive, not just get by, but flourish. You are meant to live a life richer, higher, more abundant than what you've known in the past. A spiritual abundance that transforms how you see everything around you. Transformation is rarely loud. It is steady, like sunrise spreading quietly across a dark sky. And as it happens in you, you become a vessel of peace, of strength, of purpose. Every meaningful life requires decisions, some small, some life-shifting. And in the middle of those decisions, you're told something both comforting and challenging. I have a plan. Would you like to hear it? It's an invitation into wisdom, not force. A reminder that divine guidance is not meant to control you, but to walk with you. You are encouraged to be faithful, to be wise, to prepare yourself for what is coming. Preparation requires courage, the kind that nudges you to take the leap even when your knees shake. Set aside the fear that paralyzes you. Voice your concerns, but don't let them chain you. Pray about every major decision, not out of anxiety, but out of partnership. Through scripture, through reflection, through quiet moments of honesty, you will see that the guidance offered to you is true. And when your heart wanders, as all hearts do, you're invited to pray yourself back into alignment, back into clarity. This guidance is not distant, is a hand leading you. It is gates opening before you, opportunities, directions, and paths you once thought were impossible. Step by step, you're being led toward a place designed for you. And as you walk, you are reminded, wisdom is not about knowing everything. It's about trusting the one who leads, even when you can only see the next few steps. One of the most comforting truths in life is that we were never meant to walk alone. And sometimes, right when you least expect it, you meet people who are traveling the same path, people who understand the weight you've carried without needing an explanation. You will meet others who are also on this path with you, the message says. And together, without even realizing it, you begin to create a world filled with blessings and quiet wonders. Think back to a moment when someone appeared in your life out of nowhere and offered exactly what you needed. A word, a gesture, a bit of kindness that softened something inside you. Maybe it was a stranger in a grocery line, or a friend you had almost lost touch with. Help often arrives from most unlikely places, delivered by people who don't even realize they're being used as instruments of grace. You're told this clearly. You will be helped by the most unlikely sources. And while life can feel unpredictable, one thing remains certain: nothing is going to pluck you from my hand. Not the sky above you, not the storms that rise against you, not any force you fear may overpower you. You are held with a strength that cannot be breached. There's also a kind of awe waiting you, moments so beautiful, so profound that they shake you awake. Prepare yourself for the beautiful things you will witness. The earth around you will quake. This doesn't mean chaos. It means revelation. It means there will be times when what you see and experience will reshape the way you understand life, faith, and purpose. Community, unexpected help, unshakable protection. These are not accidents. They are part of a path designed with intention, reminding you that you're walking towards something extraordinary. There's a powerful metaphor woven into your journey. Look at yourself as clay in my hands. It's an image of softness, surrender, and quiet transformation. Clay doesn't fight the shaping process. It simply allows itself to become what it was always meant to be. And in the same way, you are being shaped, gently, intentionally, into someone useful, someone whole, someone radiant in spirit. But transformation often asks for courage. It asks you to step through doors you've been avoiding, to move into rooms that feel unfamiliar. And so the message continues. Don't be afraid. Step through the door. I come to you as your friend. I hold out my hands. There is no force, no pressure, only an invitation wrapped in love. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign, something unmistakable to tell you that the breakthrough you're longing for is truly on its way. If so, hear this clearly. A time of revelation is approaching you. The miracle you've been praying for is about to happen. Miracles don't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes they unfold slowly, like dawn light slipping through a window. Sometimes they burst open in an instant, changing everything. But they arrive right when they are meant to. What matters most is that you keep your heart open, soft like clay, willing to be reshaped, renewed, and redirected. Transformation isn't something you force, it's something you allow. If you've ever wondered whether your story can take a new turn, whether you can truly become someone stronger, gentler, braver, this is your answer. You are already in the process of becoming. Life brings battles, internal ones, invisible ones, the kind that no one else can fully see. And in those moments, you're reminded that you're not defenseless. Put on the breastplate of my faith, the message says. It's an invitation to armor your heart with something stronger than fear or doubt. Faith isn't blind optimism. It's not pretending everything is fine. Faith is choosing to believe in something bigger than your circumstances, even when your circumstances feel overwhelming. It's a shield, a grounding force, a reminder that you are anchored. And then you are called to take up a sword, not a weapon of harm, but a sword of words. Strike with my sword, that is my word. Words shape reality. They shift your inner landscape. They cut away lies you've believed about yourself. They carve out space for truth to rise again. You may not realize it, but you have already survived battles that once felt impossible. And every time you listened, every time you prayed, every time you steadied your heart, you were strengthening your spirit. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. This means your spirit grows when you surround yourself with truth, when you listen, when you remember, when you speak life over your own mind. And when your spirit grows, so does your strength. The message ends with a promise. I will strengthen your spirit for you. I shall crown your spirit also. Imagine that, a spirit crowned. It means honor. It means identity. It means victory. You are not walking into battles unarmed or unknown. You carry protection, you carry truth, and you carry a strength that is being renewed day by day. There are moments in life when you look around and quietly wonder if you've been left behind, when everything feels heavy and even hope seems a little out of reach. And yet, into that uncertainty comes a promise, spoken with unwavering clarity. I will never abandon you. Write this down. Carve it on your heart. If you've ever felt forgotten, let these words sink deeper than fear. This is not a casual reassurance, it is a vow. A commitment that does not waver with your emotions or your circumstances. Not for a moment, not even in the shadows of your hardest nights, have you been left alone. But love doesn't just comfort, it refines. I am like a refiner's fire, he says. Not a fire meant to destroy, but one that purifies, that transforms, that removes what was weighing you down so your true strength can rise. Gold doesn't fear the flame because it knows it will emerge brighter. And the same is true of you. Every difficulty you've walked through, every burden, every unanswered question has been met with a silent accompaniment. I will pass over every difficulty with you, he promises. Not around them, not avoiding them, with you. And the needs you've been worried about, the quiet fears about tomorrow, I will supply your every need. This is the kind of promise that doesn't fade. It stays. It follows you. It holds you. And as you breathe those words in, you begin to understand something profound. You were never navigating your life alone. You are always walking with someone who refuses to let go. When the sun sinks low and darkness stretches across your world, that's usually when old fears return. Night has a way of amplifying everything, the worries, the doubts, the thoughts you've been avoiding. But into that darkness, a voice speaks softly. When the sun sets and darkness falls, I am there to be your symbol of light and hope. Think of a lighthouse on a stormy coast, unmoving, unshaken, shining not because storms don't exist, but because they inevitably do. That is the kind of presence you are offered. A light that does not flicker when life gets heavy. And then comes an invitation that is both tender and brave. Call to me. Tell me of your fears. Share your anxiety with me. This is not a demand for perfection. It is a request for honesty. You do not need to hide your trembling or pretend to be stronger than you are. You are encouraged to bring your fears exactly as they are, raw, unfiltered, unpolished. And then, as your heart begins to soften, you are invited to return, not with guilt, not with shame, but with openness. Return to me with an open heart. There is peace waiting for you there, a peace that comes not from escaping the storm, but from knowing you are not facing it alone. As your gaze widens, as you begin to seek connection beyond your fears, you'll notice something changing inside you. A quiet calm begins to replace anxiety. A steadiness rises where panic once lived. You are not being called back to judgment. You are being called back to peace. Every trial you faced, every hardship, every season where you felt stretched beyond your limits has been shaping something within you. These trials will bring you closer to the way you were created, the message says. And truly, adversity has a strange way of revealing strength we never knew we had. Maybe you've noticed it too, how difficult seasons deepen your compassion, sharpen your wisdom, and refine your understanding of what really matters. Pain isn't pleasant, but it is powerful. It chisels away what is temporary so that what is eternal can stand firm. And then comes the reminder many of us forget: you are dearly loved. Not casually, not conditionally, deeply. You were born with a purpose that belongs only to you. Your own unique divine calling. You weren't meant to copy someone else's life. You were meant to live a story written specifically for you. Imagine what your life begins to look like once you trust that truth. Imagine the decisions you would make, the courage you would have, the way your shoulders would loosen if you believed, really believed, that your life has profound meaning. And in that journey comes a blessing. May my peace, which transcends all understanding, guard your heart and mind. This is the kind of peace that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It's the peace people notice in you, even when life is chaotic. It's the peace that reminds you to be firm in your faith and steady in your prayer. You are not being rebuilt into who you used to be. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. In the end, every journey of faith leads to one defining truth: perseverance shapes destiny. And now you hear the words that honor every struggle you've survived. You are proving to be a brave, diligent soldier. Not because life has been easy, but because you kept walking even when it wasn't. Think about everything you've endured, the nights you held yourself together, the days you showed up despite the weight, the moments you pushed forward when quitting felt easier. These are not small victories. These are milestones of courage. And then comes the assurance many people long for. You will have a better life because you persevere. Better not because challenges vanish, but because you grow stronger, wiser, more anchored in purpose. Because every step you've taken has carried you towards something greater than where you began. Finally, the message closes with a call that echoes across generations. Stand firm until the end. Amen. Stand firm when doubt whispers. Stand firm when fear rises. Stand firm when the world shifts beneath your feet. Your story is not over. In many ways, it is just beginning. And every chapter ahead, every blessing, every breakthrough, every quiet moment of grace is shaped by the strength you have already shown. You stayed. You believed. You kept moving. And because of that, a new and better life is unfolding before you.